character is very important to us here in Buffalo. I think you've seen that. And, we want everyone to be model citizens and never have their name, in the police blotter. But things happen sometimes. And, again, we have to remember people are we have to give them their fair due process.
All right, welcome back to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel presented by Connors and Ferris. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy our content. Dan Fates, I am Jenna Cottrell. We're here in Orchard Park. The Bills off of the bye week.
Back to work.
We are back to work. The Bills looking forward to the Chiefs this upcoming Sunday. But obviously the topic of the day, the allegations against Von Miller assaulting his pregnant girlfriend during the bye week. We got to hear today from Brandon Beane, Sean McDermott, as well as some of the members of the team about that situation, what they make of it. Now, Von Miller, to set things up, he was here today.
He's here.
He is here. He did not practice.
Veteran rest day,
yes,
which Sean McDermott said was decided before the bye week, before the incident, trying to get him back on a routine that he was on last year.
Yes.
That's what Sean said.
That's what Sean said. Sean also said that the expectation is for Miller to practice tomorrow.
On Thursday in full.
Brandon Beane spoke today.
This is a tough conversation to talk about.
Yeah, it is.
We usually like to talk about hot wings and hot takes, and we joke around here. This is a very serious allegation, to which Sean McDermott agreed to that.
Yeah.
It's also a league. We are also not trying to become legal experts or know everything about it. We don't know everything. And it's similar to trying to say the right things and not say the wrong things, while also expressing our opinions and our feelings, and maybe what some of you, the fans, are also feeling as well.
Yes, I agree. I think today we did not know that Brandon Beane was going to talk.
Correct.
We got the notification a little bit later, so we actually weren't here in person for it. We did get it from our sister station, and we obviously, I know a lot of fans also heard it. We're going to insert a decent amount.
Yeah, about 2 minutes worth of Brandon Beane's bites out of his 19-minute press conference.
Yes.
Right here.
There's not a lot that I can say. Vaughn is here. He'll be a part of the team. And, we'll let the investigation and we'll follow the lead of the NFL. Culture and character and all those things are super important. But we also have to remember we have to let the legal process play out. The guy that we've known here for a year and a half, that seems out of character. We weren't there. We're not investigators. We don't, obviously, we had our conversations with Vaughn and understood, what he believes happened. I'm sure he's disappointed. As I said earlier, character is very important to us here in Buffalo. I think you've seen that. We have to remember people are we have to give them their fair due process. That could happen to anyone in this room, and I would hope we would all wait and let that play out before we rush to judgment. The public or us, we only have so many of the facts, and I think if you look around this country, you see plenty of rushes to judgment, and whether it's sports or other things. And so, again, we're not investigators here. We're not qualified to do that. We'll follow the lead of those people and let them do their jobs. And we'll take the information, and you're truly in my seat, or Terry Pagula or Sean McDermott. We're just trying to do the right thing, and you're never going to make 100% people happy. If we went the other way and said he can't play, there'd be people upset about that too. So I wish I could sit here and make everyone happy, but I know that's not reality. Right. If anything of this was true, would be clearly out of character for who they know or who we know. I don't think we have a lot of information other than our conversation with Vaughn and his representatives in the league, other than, the media reports and things like that. So we've not been able to have conversations with people who were on the scene investigating the call and things like that. So, it's very early in the process, and those people in Dallas aren't just going to get they're not worried about the Buffalo Bills. They're going to do what they do on the timeline that they do it. And again, we'll take the lead of the NFL for how we move forward.
Okay, so a lot there.
Yeah.
I think some of the notes that stand out to me was he talked about how this is an ongoing process.
Yep.
The NFL taking the lead on this.
Correct.
The league itself.
Correct. I appreciate Brandon speaking.
Yes.
I think he needs to be the one to face some of these tough questions.
I agree.
They shouldn't be Sean. Sean, while he's also the head coach of the team, we can get to what he said. Brandon tried to lay out what is going on
Yes.
and what he knows. He also admitted that they don't know a whole lot,
Yeah. I took,
which is a little troubling to me.
Yeah. I took some notes just in terms of it's an open investigation, so things are still yet to be uncovered. I think you know us. We are trying to do the right things.
Mm-hmm.
We are taking the lead from the NFL. Vaughn is here. He is a part of this team.
Yes. I think that was the big thing. We didn't know if Vaughn would be here to begin with. He was here.
Yeah.
And he is not on the commissioner's exempt list. He
Yeah.
is not, from what Brandon said today, they're not expecting him to go on the commissioner's exemption list, meaning he's going to be cleared to play, that he is he's cleared to practice, and that he's expected, by all accounts, to play on Sunday. Now, BEANE did say that this is an ongoing investigation and that more details could come out.
Correct. I think he leaves the door open
I think
for
he
that.
leaves his door open to saying then things can change. The other thing that he did say was that for what they do know, and he said they don't know a lot, which I didn't fully understand,
Yeah.
that they feel comfortable with him being a part of the team, which I think is tricky.
I completely agree. It's tricky. I think there are really a couple things that stand out to me that didn't sit right for me personally. One of which being the fact that they said they didn't really have time to do the investigation. They didn't really have time. They kind of, the Dallas police aren't going to get in touch with them, the lowly Buffalo Bills. And I had an issue with that because I felt like you are the NFL. You are a arm of the NFL, and the NFL is one of the most powerful organizations in the country. And I think they said they talked to Vaughn. They said they talked to Vaughn's representatives.
Vaughn's agent.
They said they saw the media reports.
And that was where he stopped.
I wish we were there because I would have asked, did you see the arrest affidavit? Did you see the transcript of the 911 call? Like other things, because I'm curious how much work they put in to fully investigate this. And I don't know the answer to that. Correct. But I guess I was kind of taken aback because this happened last Wednesday. The reports of it came out last Thursday. Obviously the Bills were on the bye week. So that to me that struck me as odd.
Yeah. Brandon said time and time again, I think it was 7 or 8 times over the press conference, they're not investigators. They're not investigators. Don't you investigate on draft prospects? Don't you go and do your digging on off-the-field issues?
It's due diligence.
So you do it on prospects, but in this case, and listen, he was asked about the Matt Araiza case. He was asked about that. They said every circumstance is different. Take that for what it is, okay? And I know could be a lot of comments. The Bills had information. They cut him. That was it. This is Von Miller.
Yes.
It's a different situation.
I think that is, and I don't think that will ever be said, but that is the tea leaves of Von Miller being Von Miller, and Matt Araiza being a drafted guy that really at that point was quite unproven.
Yep.
And that is the meritocracy of the NFL.
Yep. So
I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying
correct.
it's wrong. I'm saying that is how it is.
And what we're trying to do here, and again, trying to lay out what Brandon BEANE said today, what the organization has said,
Yeah.
and trying to keep facts that what are said. That's what we're trying to do here. Not trying to throw our opinions in here. Also,
No, I think
very different opinions.
Yes.
And different opinions between you, the viewer, different opinions between the fans, and different opinions between people, viewers, and the team.
Yeah, I think we're laying out the facts, but I think I just said my opinion of how I thought that him talking about we didn't really have the time to investigate or the resources to investigate, that did not sit right with me.
Yep.
So we are absolutely telling you the facts of what happened, but we are also adding what we think, and I think that is important because as someone who's covered this team now for how long has it been?
7 years.
7 years. I think it's important, and I'm not, here's the thing: was I shocked by the fact that Von Miller is still on this roster and that it seems like he's going to practice tomorrow? I really was not, because I think the Bills' contract for Von Miller has a lot of money that would be tied up, and if he were to be cut by the team, I think it's Von Miller. He's a future Hall of Famer, all these things. But I guess my point that I was really upset by, or not really upset, but I was discouraged by what the reasoning was. I thought it would be a little bit more like, hey guys, we're letting the legal process hang out, and it kind of would be that repeatedly.
Yep.
And even that, I would be like, okay, I don't love those answers, but I get it.
Yep.
But some of the things that he went into, Brandon Beane did, it rubbed me the wrong way.
Fair. And I was surprised by, I thought Brandon would come out and say, like you said, it's an investigation, we can't say much. And then he would open up and say that he's confident in Von Miller and that this would be out of character of the man that we know for the last year and a half. And so he would kind of put in his thoughts, his feelings, and say, things of that. He also said that we have to wait and due process, and this could happen to anybody. I took offense to that.
Yeah.
He said anybody in this room it could happen to.
Yeah.
I respectfully disagree, Brandon.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
Yeah.
So this is where it's all shaken out. Again, Von was here. We saw him after practice. He was huddling up with the rest of the defensive line. Didn't practice today for veteran rest.
Veteran rest was what was said.
Sean McDermott was asked. Originally, he said he's going to let Brandon's comments be the only thing that he had to say. He then added, it is a very, very serious allegation, something they take very seriously. We'll see where that goes.
Yes. Again, Brandon Beane said he's not expecting for Miller to be on the commissioner's exempt list. I mean, I will say, Sal Majorana asked a great question of like, okay, well, I'm going to paraphrase it, but essentially saying like, well, Von really hasn't been that productive on the field.
About performance.
About performance, and I think that's a very incredibly valid claim.
Yep.
And he said, Brandon Beane said it's about getting the right 48 guys out there and making sure that you have the right adjustments and all of these things. But that is also a piece of this, is the fact that he is underperformed. And I know he's coming back from an ACL injury, but at the same point, in big moments when Buffalo has needed him, he has not been able to come through.
Yeah, and you could argue he's hurt the team.
I think you could absolutely
that
argue
he's
that.
been on the field in big moment, late game situations, and Von hasn't been good late in games. So take that for what it's worth. It's also a little bit, to me, I'll say this, I think this team has done a phenomenal job of handling DeMar Hamlin's situation, being a team of culture. I remember when this team came here, it was culture, culture, culture. And I remember saying, who cares about culture? You need athletes, you need players, you need talent. Yeah. Culture worked. Culture under Sean McDermott has been massive. And culture, and being talked about today, that culture and character and leadership are all very important here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think,
I guess these are just things
I think
that didn't sit well with me.
I think that they can have a great culture, but also this can be an example of a fracture in that.
Yep.
And I think that to me, that is exactly what this is.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else you would like to add?
No, how about you?
Okay.
You all right?
I think I'm okay. It's honestly kind of it's a fine balance because as someone who's covered this team for a long time and
You've also been around Von a lot.
Yeah, as a woman, I feel like it makes it a delicate dynamic, and I'm glad we waited a little bit for us to talk about this after talking with the players, which actually we should add. We talked to Micah Hyde, we talked to Josh Allen as well. They said that they're supporting their teammate and they're letting the legal process play out.
Yeah.
I think that's important to add that. But I'm glad we had a little bit of time to kind of take a breath before we recorded this. But that being said, we do appreciate everyone. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of opinions on this, and I understand that. It's a very nuanced situation.
Yep.
But as Sean McDermott said, there are very serious allegations that are at the center of it. So this will continue to play out.
Yep.
We will see how things go, and obviously we will be here to update and to go along with what this team is doing. All right, let's talk about a little bit about practice.
Tough transition.
Transition. And
Dawson Knox.
Yeah, Dawson Knox.
Kyer Elam.
the 21-day window for them opening up. I didn't talk to Dawson in particular, but he talked to our sister station, WKBW, saying how he's excited to be back out on the field. I think for him, he just got engaged. Very exciting. I'm curious to see what the approach with him will be.
I'm curious to see the role in easing him back, because things have been going really well.
Yeah, and Dalton Kincaid has played very well.
Right, so it's almost like don't mess with what's working.
Yes.
But he is another piece that they can get out there to be another weapon.
Yeah, and the Chiefs ahead.
Chiefs ahead, massive week. Deion Dawkins was the Walter Payton nominee of
Man of the Year.
Man of the Year nominee for the Bills.
For the second straight year.
And he was just great. He talked about how there's no more hiding from it. The situation that they're in. He goes, we got to win out. Plain and simple. There's no hiding from it. The sense of urgency is cranked all the way up. I liked hearing that. I liked hearing that there is nowhere to hide and go to Kansas City and win. I think they can win.
I do too.
I wish there wasn't an off-the-field issue going on at the biggest week of the season, but if this is a Kansas City Chief team that I think is ripe to be picked off.
And they've won there before.
Yep. In the regular season.
Yes.
Been the last 2 years.
I think that this is not the Chiefs team of old, and I think for this Bills team, they do usually play pretty well when their backs are against the wall.
Yep.
So I think there's a lot of encouraging on-the-field things for this team and what that game in Kansas City could mean on Sunday. But for right now, let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up.
The
Hot Ones thing, if you haven't watched it already, that's great.
That was fun.
We also caught up with Haley Lewis. She is a freelance and sports reporter in Kansas City.
She's covered the Chiefs for
a long time. We always talk to her when it's Chiefs week. It's great. She's always great.
Yeah, we appreciate her coming on as well.
We will have a podcast on Thursday.
Yes.
And our show.
And Mike and I are going to Kansas City. Grammar's hard. Are going down to Kansas City, so we'll be there this weekend as well. So thank you for watching.
Yeah,
please be sure to. Yes, thank you for
weathering the storm. This isn't easy to talk about.
It's not easy to talk about, and sometimes I feel like I don't say exactly what I want to say, but I appreciate everyone
sticking with it.
It's nuanced. It's hard. It's these are really complicated. Serious things that we're talking about, so we appreciate it. So thank you so much. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. For Dan, I'm Jenna.
This is the Buffalo Plus Podcast, brought to you by Connors and Ferris.